Uh, well, I used to play a lot in Overwatch 1. I played in a little high plat, low diamond league. Really loved it. Really loved the people I was playing with. Kind of when I first started to take it seriously, got into some little amateur coaching sessions with high diamond players that were just kind of volunteer coaching
Mm-hmm.
the people in the league. It was just all kind of for fun. Really got
Mm-hmm.
a lot out of those coaching sessions. And then in Overwatch 2, pretty recently, within the last couple of seasons, picked it back up, started playing seriously again, and just want to get better. Just want to take it more seriously, do it with a little more intention and structure, and see if I
Sure.
can climb a little bit.
Sure. So what kind of flipped the switch for you recently to take it a little bit more seriously?
I don't know. I think I always took it seriously. I just took I took time off from playing, just life and not having time and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. And when I picked it up, I probably dropped it because I wasn't as big a fan of 5 on 5 when it started. And when
Mm-hmm.
I picked
Mm-hmm.
it back up and started to learn some of the nuances of how to play it differently, I started to enjoy it more. And because I enjoyed it more, it just made me take it more seriously and want to get better at it.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Now I'm seeing here we're going to be looking at Soldier 76. Is that the case?
That's right.
What's your hero pool been like? I guess since you've started, like how has that evolved over time?
Well, in Overwatch 1, I played a lot of off tank. Played a lot of Zarya, a lot of Winston, stuff like that. Playing with a lot of Reinhardt comps was typically our rollout. And then also played a lot of healer, things like Zenyatta, a lot of projectile heroes. Probably off healer, leaning more towards damage and utility and stuff like that. And then Overwatch 2, I've played almost exclusively DPS and really stick to hit scan unless there's something where I'm so hard countered that it just necessitates a switch to Reaper or May or something like that, where it's a little brawlier.
Okay.
Pretty much Soldier and Ash right now.
Okay. Soldier Nash is good. I like those heroes. You have something for every situation, right? More
Yeah.
long range, open map, Ash works well. More flanks available, a little bit closer. Soldier does better, and so on. Okay. At the time of the form, you were Plat 5. I don't know how much you've played since the reset, but is that around still the case?
It's about, yeah, I think I'm in 4 right now. I think on the reset I immediately shot up to 2, which was my high last season, and then immediately got pummeled back down to 4.
Right, that happens. Okay.
Yeah.
You want to approach the game with more purpose, intention, make better in-game adjustments, understand map dynamics better. Those all make sense to me, but I'm curious what you mean by map dynamics specifically.
I think part of it is map knowledge. I'm not the kind of player, and haven't been the kind of player in a long time. Maybe with the exception of a small window in Overwatch 1, that like runs maps and has deep map knowledge other than what comes through just repeatedly running through them on competitive. So I think I'd like to understand, not only have a better understanding of map knowledge, which is something you probably can't really teach, you just have to explore them, but also have a better understanding of when I'm on Ash, where am I looking to play, how am I looking to play, when I'm on Soldier, especially because he's so dynamic with what he can do. How can I be harder to track? How can I change my positioning better and faster, and also utilize the two sides of his range a little better, whether up close and with some deep, dangerous flanks, or further back, like more of a sniper.
Okay, makes sense. Basically, understanding the maps better so I know how to position myself smarter.
Yeah, 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 and also relative to their team composition, and if I'm on this map and they're running this comp, what are some things I can kind of lean on to feel comfortable and
That
get
makes sense
value.
to me. That makes sense to me. Now, I guess off of that point, you talk about playtime here, and it says around 4 to 5 hours. Is
Yeah,
that per day, per week?
that's per day. I play a lot.
Okay. And how
Yeah,
is that time spent? Is it mostly just ranked?
it's ranked. Yeah, I play almost exclusively ranked. Not a lot of quick play. Not a lot. Even I'm terrible about warming up. I don't really have a warm up routine. It's really just jump in and hope the first game goes well enough that by the second game I'm warm.
Have you had a warm up routine before, or have you tried to adopt one?
No, I haven't. It's something that I'm interested in doing and don't really know where to start.
Let's talk about that then. So,
Okay.
let me give you a couple of my options here. Let
Okay.
me start my screen here.
Okay.
So, what I like best for warm up, and what I used to utilize a lot back in the day, was try hard free for all.
Hmm.
So you go into custom, you go into all games, you're going to type try hard. And then you're going to get something like this, Voltaic NA or Voltaic EU. And they're almost always up. Now, there may not always be somebody in there. And if there is nobody in there, then maybe it's not worth your time. But if you can get in here with, like, let's say Soldier, you're going to be playing versus a lot of different players from a lot of different ranks, instant respawn up to 50 kills, and it just keeps going and going and going and going and going. Now, you're going to notice as well that the reason why this is nice is because if you're swapping characters, you can see what's disabled here. There's a lot of characters that are disabled, and even the ones that are enabled, they're more limited with what they can and can't do. Obviously, like you look at Life Fever right now, I can't use my tree, right? So basically, it takes a little bit of the pain points out of some of the characters that you're probably kind of tired of playing versus.
Yeah.
Now, if this isn't available, you can always try out Unranked Deathmatch right here. Now, the biggest downside of that is the queue times. It can be really short. It can be really long. Depends on when you queue. So what I would do is I would give that one a shot, jump in queue, and in the meantime, you can either do this deathmatch here, or you can even do a custom game. And this goes to my third option, and this is the simplest but also the most boring one, which is Vaxta. Are you familiar with Vaxta?
I'm not.
Okay, VAXTA. I'll type it in your channel here. So what Vax is useful for is really just probably the best aim trainer in Overwatch that we have. So you're going to lock your character. You're going to do either challenge or warm up. They both have different upsides and downsides. It's really up to you. And from here, you're going to go up in the top right, and you're going to click the very easy.
Okay.
And you're going to notice here that it's a lot of different characters, and you're just going to shoot, and you're going to shoot, and you're going to shoot. Nice. And there's lots of different things that you can do. Let me give you 4 different things you can do with Soldier. Just Helix. No, I didn't quite get that one. Got it. Then just tracking, standing still. Notice I'm not moving.
Right.
Lock one target and alternate which target that you go for as well. Then there's movement and shooting. So I'm kind of strafing. I'm not going crazy strafes left and right, but I'm pausing my shots to realign my crosshair. If I start missing, like you can see, like, oh, I'm starting to miss. That hitbox is tough.
Yeah.
Right? And then finally, there's the combination of all 3, which is using your shots and your helix and your movement.
Okay.
Like so.
I like this.
And you're going to do this, and because it's so boring, I would recommend doing this from anywhere from 4 to 10 minutes tops. Even 3 to 10 minutes tops. Just get in here, shoot a lot of people. You can see at the top left is an orange timer that's kicking right now. That's all you need to do. Go to 3 minutes and you're done.
Okay.
Now, as you get better, this is where it gets really crazy. Hard. And these guys are brutal. This is like way better than 90% of players are going to move. There's also like normal, which I think is probably going to be your best. But they double jump, they strafe, they deflect. They move forward, they jump, they super jump, they use all their abilities, and this is pretty good. Like, it's pretty realistic, and it's in the in-game environment. Much better than Kovacs or any of the other aim trainers that you might have heard of. But this is the way to go. This is the way to go, 100%. Cool. Now, are you playing on PC or console?
I'm on console.
Okay, so for console, also I would double check to make sure that all of your settings within console are optimized. There's probably a bunch of YouTube videos out there on there. Just do your research, make sure that whatever you have is perfectly fine. One other thing to note about console is that the try-hard thing that I gave you earlier, that's probably not going to be on console, but the unranked deathmatch will be. So it kind of limits your options, but it simplifies your thought process. Try her deathmatch, and while you're in queue, you can actually boot up the Vaxta as well. And what I would do is I would really encourage you to start small. If this is not something that you've done before, it can be really demotivating because of how slow and dull it is. You just want to get in and start killing people. So I would say anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes is a totally acceptable warm-up start. So roll with that.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. 5 to 10 minutes, either with Vaxter or something along those lines. And then you said mostly ranked, and you just jump into ranked.
Pretty
correct?
much, yeah.
Okay. Do you take breaks between games?
Sometimes I'm better and worse at that. I try to be conscious of it. I am very consistent with it, at the very least, getting up while I'm in queue for the next game, and going to the sink and grabbing water, or letting the dog in the backyard, or at least moving around the house and not
Good.
staring at my screen the whole time I'm queuing. But
Right.
I'm not very good typically. Of a game's over, let me take 1-2 minutes, 5 minutes, walk around before I even
Yeah.
queue again, and do something like that.
Same kind of thing as the warm up. If it's something that you haven't really or not very consistent at doing, then just lower the bar of entry. Make it 30 seconds instead of 2 or 3 minutes. Just get up.
Yeah.
Make yourself stand up and sit back down again. Whatever. Even if it's
I'm
10
pretty good at
seconds. It's
that. I
fine.
can't sit for very long, so I'm pretty good,
Good.
at least taking a lap around the
All right.
house.
All right. Good. I would also recommend just kind of having a bit of an expectation of your 4 to 5 hours are not going to be all created alike. So depending on how well you slept the night before, how much work that you've had, how tired you are, how the games are going also as well. If the games go poorly, it can definitely make things worse. But your fuse may burn out faster. For me, I'm generally around, if I'm working a lot, 2 to 3 hours. If I'm not working a lot that day, 4 to 5.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that you can't play longer than that. It's just not practice. It's just playing for fun. So I think it's changing your expectations, and maybe even just doing quick play or off rolling or trying a different character or playing with friends or doing some arcade or whatever after you've done 2 or 3 hours of solo queue might be a good decision. Just yeah. Okay. Have more fun, understand maps. Now, you say have more fun. What would make you have more fun?
What you just talked about, adjusting that mindset that if I'm playing 4 to 5 hours of ranked, they're not all going to be great. Sometimes they're going to get rough, and you either need to take a break or do something else, or just
Right.
accept that that's going to happen sometimes.
Right. It's not even about like managing the losses or the tilt. It's just knowing that like, hey, these games are going to be full intensity. These games are not. That's it.
Right.
That's all there is to it. We don't need to overthink it so much,
Yeah.
So whether you lose a lot or play well, or if as long as you're practicing really hard, that's what the kind of value that we need from the game. And I think there's only so much that you can do with that per day. Understanding maps positioning better, we kind of talked about that already. You want to make better adjustments when I'm countered. So we touched on this briefly before, but I want you to elaborate a little bit more. What situations make you feel countered?
I think that might be the biggest gap I have in my play is I have a tendency, especially when I'm on Soldier. With Ashe, I'm better about it, but she has only so much escapability in the first place. But with Soldier, I tend to ego a lot of things. I think a lot of times I overstay my welcome if I'm playing into something like a Genji or a Diva or even a Winston sometimes. Things like that are hard or impossible to ego if you play into their strengths. I tend to do too much of that, and I'm trying to be more conscious of also just hitting select more and seeing, have they switched? Am I getting a lot of value early on, and then they make a switch and suddenly my value goes away, but now I'm stubborn and I'm attached because I was getting that value to start with, so I'm egoing that.
Right.
Things like that.
Right. Okay. I have some good news for you. I think largely for that regard, especially the matchups that you spoke, it's probably mostly a skill issue.
Probably, yeah.
Or an understanding. When I say a skill, I don't necessarily mean your ability to shoot them in the face, but like an understanding issue. So I don't know if you can see stream still here.
Yeah.
But Tracer, we'll just use the bot that we have here, Tracer. Who has the advantage in the 1v1 here?
Me, absolutely.
Right? You get what I'm saying? Who has the advantage in the 1v1 here? You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Right? Her ability to move around simply is just so disorienting and so difficult. And you can probably see where I'm going with this, but that's the case with Winston and Genji too.
Yeah.
It's not that you can't beat them, it's where you're beating them is crucial.
Yeah.
And the great thing about Soldier is that's why you have Sprint. That's what makes Soldier so unique compared to other hit scans, similar to Sojourn, to where you can just run away.
Right.
You can always maintain your distance, and if you're not maintaining your distance, then yes, you can't beat them. But see, if I'm coaching a Winston or a Genji player, all of our coaching, or a lot of our coaching, is focused on, as my mouse just died here, what happened here? A lot of our coaching is how do I close that distance, actually? Because if I can't close that distance, then I can't beat the soldiers. So your whole goal is how do I stay away while still doing damage?
Right.
Their whole goal is how do I get close without taking damage? Because if Winston takes any damage from you before he dies, he's probably going to die. He might make the jump, but he's probably going to die for it. And like that's just really bad. And the same thing goes for Genji and so on. So it's kind of like understanding it from their perspective as well. It's not really a counter, actually. It's just kind of how can you position yourself appropriately.
And that's how I feel, and I feel like I do a very good job of that initial positioning, and then once I think I let them close that distance too easily and don't disengage fast enough when
That's
they
it.
do.
That's it. And I'm sympathetic to that because that's something I've been struggling a lot with this character I've been practicing recently, trying to learn her a little better.
She's crazy.
And she's not like Kiriko where you could just like look through a wall and just, oh, bam, TP away instantly. You're like, I'm going to use my shift. Hang on. Hang on. It's a lot like Soldier Sprint, right? If you try to run away when they already landed you, it might already be too late. You have to kind of anticipate that pressure before it happens, even with your speed ring, right? Like, I mean, this isn't like, it's not more of fate, all right? So, you just have to kind of anticipate it before it happens. And I think like that's the challenge. And if you're struggling with Soldier, then that's probably where we'll be putting a lot of our time, which is beautiful because it also ties in really nicely with what you were saying about maps and how you position yourself. So we're going to have a nice little tidy package, I think, for you. Last thing I want to say from your form as well is the sleep was on the lower end. I'm sure you're probably a pretty easy guy. But just be aware that is something that would be awesome if you could make improvements at.
Yeah,
even if it's small improvements.
That's been a goal for a long time for a lot of reasons.
Well, y'all remember it's the warm-up strategy. That's my best tip,
Yeah.
When we asked you to warm up, we didn't ask a lot. We asked 3-5 minutes, That's all we ask. So for sleep, it doesn't need to be 8 or 9. It just might need to be 6.5. And then you're thinking, okay, well, how do I get 6.5? What little habit or little adjustment can I make and just stick with? You don't need anything major. Don't do too much.
Okay.
But okay, I'm all set. If you want to take a look at one of these codes here, so talk to me about each of these codes.
So Rialto, I haven't looked at. It's more. These are both in the past day or two. Rialto, I haven't looked at. It was a win. I felt like there was much more comfort on that. I feel like, anecdotally speaking, from my memory, I feel like there was a lot of ability to play high ground because they didn't really have anything to contest it and didn't really roll anything out to adjust to that. But then also, even as comfortable as I was, and even as much as I felt like my positioning was pretty powerful and had a lot of value, it was also a very sweaty match for what the strength of my positioning and gameplay was. I felt like. So maybe there are things to look at there that could have made that less sweaty. And then King's Row, I've glanced at. It was a loss. I felt like we had a pretty strong team and some pretty strong plays and just couldn't get it done. And there were definitely, at me glancing through it, some things like what we've talked about where why am I here? Why have I not already disengaged from this and trying to ego some one-on-one?
Did they have any of the typical struggle heroes that we've talked about?
I don't think so. I think Kings Row had a Hanzo, which is something I try to ego too much from his range. I definitely find I've gotten better at staying out of his sight line, but that's something I still get stubborn about. And then there were some soldier one-on-ones that are always kind of interesting.
Sure.
And then Rialto, I don't remember exactly what they ran. I felt like they ran just a lot of low ground, and it was a lot of Cass and Bastion and stuff like that where they couldn't really contest. But
do you have any recent Winston or Genji games that you can remember?
I don't. And honestly, most of the time I know what I'm doing there anyway. And even in fight, I'm just like, why am I still here? Why did I not run?
Sure, that's fine. Sure. All right. So which one do you want to start with then?
Let's look at Kings Row because I know there are things that I could have done better there, and I'd like to get your perspective on that.
Yeah. The way I like to look at it is when you look at Soldier, I don't want you thinking that there are 1v1s that you're not allowed to take. There is not a single 1v1 in this game that you should run away from. Okay. Even a Roadhog. A Roadhog, if you keep it enough distance just outside of his hook range, you could do a lot of work to a Roadhog. Eventually whittle him down. Will you kill him quickly? No. It'll take 6 years. But it's not necessarily it's not necessarily not a waste of time. It might be worth your time. So Widowmaker's fine. Tracer, fine. Soldier, fine. Hanzo, fine.
Yeah.
It's more about how do I take that 1v1? When do I take the 1v1? Where do I take the 1v1? Yeah. So if we look at the Hanzo, what's your advantage over Hanzo? This might be tricky.
Uh, Not much really. Me having Helix and him not knowing where I am are the two things that I feel like
Yeah.
give
Yeah.
me success.
So how do you use
against him.
that? How do you use that?
Say again.
Excuse me. How do you use that?
By I guess by trying to be hard to track, by keeping out of his sight line when I'm moving towards an engage. A lot of times
Sure.
when my two approaches with Hanzo tend to be if I'm doing what I know I need to be doing, to either play some sort of corner where I can see his team but he can't see me, or if he's a real problem for my team, to try to get in and dive him and get very close with Helix before he knows I'm there.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe even mid range is not too bad, right? Because you hit the Helix and you got healing station. Even if he hits a headshot, what can you do?
Healer disengage.
Just heal and hide behind the corner.
Yeah.
And then you repeat again. Like you have a lot of little advantages. Helix is a big one. His 8, you've got more HP than him. He can't one shot you. You have healing stations so that you can take it. If it's an extended 1v1, you can beat him. The only real advantage that he has is that one long range threat if you're not full HP, and Storm Arrow,
Yeah.
which is a CD. So even Hanzo is like, I would never call him a soldier counter, right? Not that you said that, but there's
Yeah.
always a choice. There's always a choice. So let's what we'll do is we'll look at the positions that you're taking, and then what you're doing from those positions, crucially. And if you have any questions, just let me know. By the way, did have any questions come up that we haven't touched on just yet?
No. No.
All right. Taking top here. Love it. Rotating all the way around. Now, why are you rotating here?
I think I'm partially scouting. I saw that bastion. I didn't want to give away where I was. I think my standard rollout on King's Row is exactly this, and I think a lot of the reason is mostly to see who they have and what they have, and try to divert some attention away from that choke that's so
Sure.
hard to just burn through.
Sure. Your self-sustain and your mobility are your strengths. Also your variable range, right? Like you are like the jack of all trades, master of none. You know, you can keep yourself alive. You're not the fastest, but you're not the slowest. You can snipe. You can brawl, right? You can do all sorts of stuff. So, yes, it's good. In fact, the only person that you really need to be aware of here is keeping your distance from is the D.Va, right?
Yeah, and I'll miss every shot on this Alari.
Well, this is a huge habit that you have to work on. Remember when I was missing all my shots in the Vaxta warm-up code?
Yeah.
What did I start to do with my gun?
Still.
Well, I stood still, but I did more than that. When I started to miss, I stopped shooting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I stopped shooting, realigned my crosshair, and started shooting again. It's called trigger discipline, right? You have to really keep this in mind. Not just because it'll prevent you from missing shots. It won't. But it will help develop good training habits, and it will improve your mechanics faster than if you just hold it down.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Very important that you develop this. Because, this is like funny. Like, everyone's got clips like that, even the best of us, right?
Oh yeah.
But
Well, and you can see I'm even shooting the same spot. They're just not hitting it at her.
right. And that's the thing is you're not giving yourself a chance to reposition your crosshair. And that's especially hard with Soldier because of the kickback, right? So you need to stop and allow yourself to realign. That being said, staying away from D.Va, deep angle on backline, opening with Helix, shooting the Hanzo, a little bit of ego there, repositioning healing station. This is great stuff. This is really, really well done. No complaints from me here. Just freaking get the kill.
I feel like maybe I wasted healing there. You don't think so? Or
Well, you were maybe. Yeah, I guess like maybe the heal passive would have kicked in here. Yeah, maybe it wasn't the best, but like it was all right. You weren't full HP, so it's I'm not gonna freak out over it. Now this, I would say you probably don't need to reposition just yet, because like there's nothing really pushing you just yet. The Hanzo's not peeking you down, so just you outrange the Bastion here. You can just put a little bit more pressure here.
And what you're saying here is about to be very relevant because now I'm dead.
Yeah, I know, but we didn't really know that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
If anything, it's just like, awareness that the Hanzo's on you, like, because that's a 1v1 that you could have taken. But that being said, like, I don't know. The boxes that we're trying to check were you took a good position, your trigger discipline was really bad, you rotated from an angle like you could have just held, but like your initial setup and like Helix usage and like target priority and it was all good,
Okay.
It was all good, So
Cool. I
I just want to make sure that we're like being specific with our critiques, I was like, I didn't know the Hanzo was there. Okay, well, like maybe we need to work on our situational audio awareness, right? Like how good is your headset, you know, like, but like we'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep an eye on it.
Or even knowing, hey, I just shot him and took him down to 1. He's probably about to come get me.
Right. Or like, where is he? Because you didn't see him, you know, maybe that's something to keep an eye on. But like, well, now
He knows where I am.
there's another option here, because I think the problem with this angle here is it's not a bad angle. It's just not as deep of an angle that I think you could take if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Where's your deeper angle here?
Deeper is just to keep going to the right through that tunnel.
You can keep going, right? You can literally run through their spawn now,
Yeah.
all the way around behind. And you're like, well, I don't have time to do that. Yes, you do, right? Look at the cart, right? Look, you got all the time in the world. You have a sprint, you can go. Heck, you could have initially rolled out here, and then rolled out here, and then rolled out here if you'd wanted to. I mean, you got options. Let's see what you do with it. But yeah, definitely don't want to peek that there. Obviously, at this point, I like this actually. I think this is fine. D.Va again, the only one you really got to watch out for. I kind of like how you kept bringing up like ego. I'm egoing. I would describe this as maybe not egoing, but it is a little bit like egoing. Why?
Well, this is dangerous because a good Hanzo kills me there for sure.
Right, not one shot, but you don't win the 1v1, right? Like you don't win the 1v1. If you're an equally skilled Hanzo versus equally skilled Soldier, Soldier just doesn't win this. However, you don't have to take it here. What can you do instead?
Keep going.
Keep going, right? Keep going. In fact, you may not know it here, but this is kind of egoing here too. Because why is this egoing?
Because that D.Va could be on me in a heartbeat.
Right, because an equally skilled Soldier, equally skilled D.Va, at this range, D.Va's going to run you over, right?
Yeah.
So you need to, ironically, keep going. The funny thing is the Hanzo gives you too much credit because he expects you to do the smart thing and you're not doing the smart thing.
He's looking right there, isn't he?
Right. So you could rotate here. Heck, you could even rotate all the way over here. It's more of a sniper duel, but at least you're making the Hanzo turn all the way around and you can really bleed him dry. And this is where the self-sustain is really useful too, because like you can heal station and the Hanzo has to turn all the way around to heal him. It's just like super inconvenient, right?
Yeah.
But this is like, this is an egoing the D.Va, egoing the Hanzo, and now it's too late.
Yeah.
Now at least it's a short range duel, but you're not making the Hanzo turn around. You're walking directly into him. Nice job. Honestly, yeah, I was gonna say, go take that Iliari. Ooh, nice. By the way, this is also what makes Soldier great. When you take angles, people don't strafe properly because they don't know where you are. So this Ana is just like kind of moving in like straight lines because she's not thinking about you. She's thinking about your Junkrat on the other side of the field, right?
Yeah.
Yep, it's fine. Good stuff. Again, I think this is where heal station's wasted.
Yeah. Because
I think
just disengage and be safe
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Heal station is the I'm actively combating tool, right?
Yeah.
With the heal passive, it's so easy to just reposition and not use your heal at all.
The idea being now I have to wait 15 seconds
Right,
to get that coolback down.
Because I don't know if I'd want to take the angle here, but if you wanted to, you would need your heal station for this duel, right? And now you don't have it. But yeah, I will say I do like the creativity here. You're not always taking the right angle, but you are taking an angle. I think it's all right.
I've been focusing more on trying to
Nice.
move and peek. I feel like one of my problems with Hanzo in the past has been peeking the same angle, so I'm very predictable, and I've been trying to work on when I do duel Hanzo to at least look somewhere, and as soon as he sees me, go somewhere else so I can look from there.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. It's just too long on that angle, right?
Yeah. Too many
To
chances.
give you credit, you did have heal station. I would have preferred you to use heal station once you'd actually taken damage, but at least you did use the heal station, so you did have a little bit of an advantage here, but you didn't quite hit the helix, and this is just a little bit outside of your range. So
Yeah. Okay.
I also I'm going to request a change of terminology here. I would say it's not so much of an ego, it's an incorrect analysis of your advantages. Okay.
Okay.
You had your heal station there, but it was a little bit too far from range, and you missed your helix, or you didn't get as much value out of your helix. So, like again here, it's an incorrect assessment of the advantages, right?
Yeah.
It's too far, and you again didn't quite hit your direct helix.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Makes sense to me.
Because the soldier has so many little advantages and strategies and tools that you can use. Heck, even here, I appreciate... That's funny. I appreciate this here, but honest question for you. If this angle... Is this angle the best angle available to you? I'm obviously implying that it's not, but I want you to think about it.
And as I watched you in the replay, my thought was, I keep going the same way. First of all, if that helix is peak and main expecting me, I'm probably dead again. Luckily, he wasn't. So why don't I go with that low ground right side rollout, or that, in this case, probably that low ground left side rollout even.
I like this one a lot, yeah. Create some distance between yourself and the diva.
Yeah.
This is cooking right here.
Yeah.
Is it risky? Oh, yes. You heal station, you pop Visor here, though.
Yeah.
I think your team wins the fight. I don't know if you even kill anybody with Visor because everyone's going to throw everything at you.
Yeah.
But I think
I get lucky and run into them not being good enough to.
Yeah, again, it's just like it's a little close. By the way, do you know the animation cancel with Visor?
I don't know.
Check this out. So you can, I don't know what the keybinds for console, but it will work on console. It is using your healing station into your Visor. It goes off simultaneously. So anytime that you use your Visor and you were like 100% certain that you're going to be taking a lot of damage, like this one, for example, you do this.
Oh, okay.
Just like that. And it just goes instantaneously right off. So you can actually get it right off. So you can look at that there, and that saves you like that extra half a second, which is really obviously really important at the start. But yeah, some worth considering. Again, I would only really do it when you know you're going to take a lot of damage. You don't want to use an 18-second cooldown for no reason. But I mean, you could predict. This is you're about to get a lot of heat here.
Exactly. I might even die here after I kill that one.
You might. It's not as good of an angle I would like. I do like the fact that you're making the play though. I like the idea of what you're doing. I just don't like the position as much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it creates a ridiculous amount of space. You get a kill out of it. You got a little bit of distance on Diva here, which is nice. And now you're just being chilling. Easy win. Like, even if I'm being really nitpicky here, when she remechs, I think I start running here.
Yeah.
I think I start running. I think I actually start running away this way just because I'm expecting her to get in my face, you know? Like,
She never really does, and it probably saves me a lot on this map. Killed me.
And the thing is, it's like, you know, you're playing in plat. Not every player is going to make always obviously the optimal decision. Right. But they will occasionally, and you'll lose games because of it, right? And like, so you want to clean up to where there's no... Oh, I didn't even... No, I forgot about this rollout, man. I haven't seen this in like 2 years. Yeah, I like it. I like it. A little bit of range here, a little bit of an angle, especially now that they're not on Hanzo. You can kind of play the sniper angles here, right? Yeah. So, yeah, this is great. Good stuff. Yeah, I think this might be the perfect position for you right now. Now, if they walk forward to the net first corner, you're going to be too close to Diva Reaper. So then, or let's say the Reaper TP's on you. Where do you go? I'm not going to move my camera. I want you to think abstractly.
Well, where I did go is, and it's only doable because the payload was in a position, but I actually prefer to be up on that ledge across from me that I can jump.
No, this is great. Yeah, this is really good. Yeah, but
he will dive me, and that's where I'll go. But other than that, I would probably panic and run backwards out of that window and probably try to run up the stairs to the catwalk just to get away from him. But I don't know if that's right or wrong.
What I would do is, like, given like this is a pretty good angle for you here.
Yeah.
And then as this fight evolves, if you can get to there, great. If not, this is all right here. Just be aware of this flank here. Stuff like that, right? Little angles there.
Yeah.
Again, Soldier is one of the more positioning intensive characters in the game just because there are so many choices that you can reach. By the way, the only nitpick I have with what you're doing here, because I think what you're doing here is fine, is you use your helix, I beg.
Oh, do use my helix.
Use it. You should use at least 2 or 3 helixes here. I think you would have got at least one more additional kill from this position with helix.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Makes
but beyond that, no critiques. The healing station's good. This reposition's fine. The initial position was really, really good. Yeah, this is great. Like, even that, like, you force the D.Va to come to clear. It's annoying, you know, but yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I don't hate this, but I think you can kind of see the problem with this angle. What's the problem?
Yeah. Too dangerous with not nearly enough value.
Well, why is it too dangerous? Because we gotta use objective measures here.
I'm too close.
Too close. Too
And
close.
there's too many people there versus where my team is, I think.
Right, too close, especially given to the D.Va, right? If the D.Va just sees that you're here, she's going to swing her boosters in here and knock you into her team, and there's no getting out. So from here, hold the angle here, poke out here. You will poke this D.Va. Heck, even do the rollout you did before. Get up here, make her commit to you, and then eventually, like, you can whittle here, you can whittle here. It's awkward. Third point in King's Row is really congested. It is not a good point for a lot of characters that don't have verticality. But yeah.
And I feel that because this fight, this might be basically where we stall out because this feels very uncomfortable for me the rest of the time.
Sure. Yeah. It's the same. The only detail is you're forgetting Helix again.
Okay.
Yeah, this is good. You take the long angle, you pop the visor, you don't do the heal station cancel because you don't know it, but also because you have a heal pocket on you, so you shouldn't use it, right? You don't really need to, but this is good. But like right here, like that, bam, right there. That's a Helix right there.
Yeah.
Right there again. As she's going behind cover, that's a Helix right there too. I'm sorry, we have to know here. I got to figure this out.
Where it came from. I didn't even see it.
I've done that before. I do that when I'm coming back from spawn sometimes with like a character like Junkrat. You know, you do the little mind jump and I'll miss it. And I'm just like, oh, man. That's funny. All right, go right, go right, go right, go right. Get your angle, get your angle, get your angle, get your distance, get your angle, get your distance.
Yeah.
You got to start taking space. Now, when would this not work? Like versus what situation or what composition or what heroes would this feel really bad?
Probably if they still had that Hanzo for one.
Yeah, Hanzo would complicate this for sure. Widow for sure. Definitely, right? Let's say that there's like a Junk or a Reaper in here. That would also complicate things. Yeah. You might want to like peek and see if you can tickle them out safely. But yeah, you got it.
Okay.
The thing about Soldier is that his kit is not very complicated, right?
Yeah.
But where you position literally changes every game.
Yeah.
You play King's Row probably 100 times, and every time that you play, you position a little bit differently, depending on the comp, depending on the situation. And most characters just don't reposition that often, right? But that's what you get for being a jack of all trades. Everything, every position, sniper, reaper, flanky, not flanky, is appropriate, depending on the situation. Okay. Take the angle. Yeah, there you go, there you go, there you go, there you go.
Yeah.
Just not here.
Immediately give it up.
Yeah, not here. Because why is this bad? Why is this bad?
Because I'm running right into D.Va's range, and I have no idea that Reaper's even there.
It's proximity, right? That's all it is. You're just too close. You don't need to get too close. And now you're dead.
Probably.
Oh, no, we get trans.
Because I got transed by my duo.
But see, the thing is, it's like you force trans for yourself. You could have just been like, oh, you're the Ariel, Kitsune, D.Va, Reaper. I don't care. I'm going to just sit here, just shoot. I don't care. I'm not scared.
Yeah.
But so not only did you force trance, but you're in a much worse position to do damage because this is so much more stressful, so much more visually confusing, right? You just need to relax and snipe. This poor Reaper's been here since like, I don't know, like Y2K.
Looking for ult, right?
Yeah. This is so much better. I mean, you immediately feel it, right? You immediately feel it.
Yeah.
It just feels so much more relaxing. But the problem is by the time you get there, it's too late. Okay, so let's keep opening here. So a couple of things here. Okay. Major thing is kind of what we talked about at the start. Read the map, read the comp, read the situation, and decide which angle you take. Not whether you should angle, because you should always angle, but which angle. It might be a really hard flank. It might just be a bit of a soft sniper angle, kind of playing closer to your team. It might be flanking that Widow. It might be playing more of a poke angle versus that Reaper Tracer, not getting too close, rotating away. And then from there, the micro that we're looking at is trigger discipline, making sure you're not forgetting about Helix, and a couple of details like you're not utilizing your heal station when you can utilize heal passive. And like the animation cancel the ult, but that's mostly it. Any questions?
No, that makes perfect sense.
Okay, because I'm a little scared about what we're seeing on their comp right now.
Yeah, I get away with something here that was real dangerous.
Well, the good news is that for every door that's closed, another door opens.
Yeah.
So now that they're off of Reaper, you could and they're on double hit scan here, double poke here. As this fight evolves, you can take any flank that you want that's apart from D.Va. Nobody's going to contest you. You're going to murder this Ashe Widow off of cooldown because you're going to be basically like a really big tracer.
Yeah.
So for now, this is okay. You just cannot peek that Widowmaker.
Except I do and get away with it.
Well, when did you peek the Widowmaker? When did you peek the Widowmaker? Two things.
When I saw that shot come out.
When you saw the shot come out, she was looking at your Doom, and not only that, but what did you have that's pretty good at a long distance? You had your Helix.
I had Helix and I had a Mercy Pocket.
And so, bam. You know what? I'm not against it.
Okay.
I'm not against it. Remember, it's not about ego. It's about correctly reading your advantages.
Yeah.
You saw a distracted long-range target. You had Helix. Go for it.
Okay, cool.
Listen, I played Zenyatta a lot back in the day. I know when it's time to peek with the right click, or peek with an alt fire. You get what I'm saying? Like sometimes sometimes it's okay. And like here, it's the same thing with your positioning. There's just zero reason for you to be super flanky right now. Just take a long sight line, take a long angle on the D.Va, and just poke her out.
Okay.
It's just fine. I appreciate the heal station, but really, really honestly don't think it's necessary.
Yeah.
Your Juno doesn't have anything else better to do. You might reposition in the next 18 seconds.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's a long cooldown. But yeah. And I see people do this sometimes. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
And also, little adjustment. I know it's probably a little trickier with console, but when you have Helix here, I like that you use it here, but flick your crosshair down. Flick your crosshair down.
Throw it at the ground.
Yeah, throw it at the ground.
Do that a lot when I'm in like close range one-on-ones, but
yeah, you do.
That's a good point from distance.
But in poke situations, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, they've gone a very interesting character, Sombra. Talk to me about Sombra.
I hate her. I wish they'd take her out of the game. That probably means I need to do a lot with my adjustments and how I play to her.
Let's apply our advantages mindset. Let's start with positioning. How does Sombra change how you position? What are her strengths? What are her weaknesses versus you?
Her strengths versus me are catching me out too far alone away from my team.
Right. So deeper angles, deeper flanks, a little bit higher risk for you.
Yeah, catching me without either Helix or heal station is pretty dangerous for me.
Ooh, so so let's stop right there. I like what you said there. So you said deeper angles, whatever, but you actually can take deeper angles if you have fill in the blank, right?
Those two things.
Those two things really help. You can react quickly in Helix, you can heal station, and you can win the 1v1, especially with new Sombra. Like Translocator is not a guaranteed escape.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think obviously paying attention to where she's positioned, maybe the deeper flanks are less attractive, but they're only less attractive if you don't know where she is and you don't have the resources to duel her.
Yeah.
I would say Sombra doesn't necessarily close the door in flanks at all. Just you have to be a little bit more intelligent about it. Okay.
Heal station on that hair trigger.
I can tell you somebody that played Sombra for a little bit in the rework just to coach her better. Heal station makes it that I have to hack virus because if I just virus, you heal station and it's very difficult to get the kill. So yeah. So where do you need to be right now? Because this is not the right decision. You've lost your angle, and you've created distance unnecessarily.
Yeah, maybe over to the left side, utilizing some of that.
Yeah.
Either low ground cover or even high ground. I worry about
got it.
D.Va, but
you can always rotate away from her, right? Like even this here gives you a better sight line. There's no Widow anymore. There's no Ashe anymore. Why not? And you're like, oh, it takes forever to rotate. Well, no, it doesn't, right? Not with your sprint. You had the opportunity as soon as you hear or check that, press the select, and you see that they're on Sombra or see that they're on Reaper Soldier. You could just start running now. You get all the way up to here. By the time the fight, what have you really done up to this point, right? At least right now, right?
Feed and poke, yeah.
You've done about 200 damage, right? Yeah. Between 3 or 4 different targets. Not much, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, find those mid-fight rotations on a different comp. Heck, you could even look at this here and be like, all right, well, if I know where Sombra is, then maybe, and I have Helix, I can even start to do something kind of funny here. You see this? I mean, this is a dead soldier and a dead EDR, and certainly a dead pylon if you're here.
Yeah.
You know? Now, obviously, you got to worry about Sombra here. You got to worry about D.Va, but you have enough information to make that decision. Because you're giving their cover so much value.
Yeah.
That's the problem here, is the lack of angle control. When you've had a couple of options, either rotate top or rotate right, have really screwed your Doom over because there's just no follow-up from you or your Torb or your Juno, for that matter, because you can't see anything. They hide behind statue, and you're just like, well, have fun, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And now it's just constant retreat.
Mm-hmm. Tracking here is pretty good, though. Same thing with the Helix, just mid-fight, tracking directly, try to flick it at the floor. You know why this is so bad? I was having a conversation with one of my friends last night. Is that this feels really satisfying?
Yeah.
You know, but it's just not. It's just not going to really result in too much. You know.
Yeah.
Even here, oh, we get the visor, but what did you really get out of it? Right? We get a kill.
Yeah.
They got a kill
Scoreboard,
too,
yeah.
right? And now, like, if anything, like you've used an ultimate, and now like, okay, well, now we're actually rotating, but. Okay, see, this is going to make some space here. I'm liking this. Get that pylon. I think we tracked D.Va coming for us.
Yeah, she
Helix-
never does. A lot of my moving here is just thinking she'll come.
Here's what it is. If you give people respect and they don't punish that, then that's fine. You're still getting value. You're still doing you're still doing the right things here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great. I mean, look at how your Doomfist is actually securing kills now, right? So why did this Doomfist secure kills? Let's actually watch.
Okay.
So you're pressuring here. Force the EDR out of position. She's totally outside of her pylon. Soldier's hard looking at you
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
dies.
Uh-huh.
EDR is also not in a position to peel this because she's also running away from you. You know, butterfly effect here. You're the reason that all this happened.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
You expect Eva to come after you? Seems reasonable.
Which is interesting because
I mean, you're destroying people here.
Kill the pylon, but seeing it from that perspective is really valuable to me.
Yeah, it really is. You've done phenomenally here. Even here, it's like you just rotate here. Where's the soldier? Okay, no soldier. Then either I mark here or I could just keep poking here. And the other thing too as well is like you haven't been contested by Sombra, but you haven't needed to because you've been hearing her harassing your teammates. So you're like, all right, well, she's not really concerned, so I don't need to save my Helix or need to save my healing because here you're worried about soldier, which is actually pretty smart because he does go for you. I mean,
Well, I heard his feet, and I guess he was down.
yeah,
below.
you're the greatest. Like you're destroying these guys. You're completely holding this lobby hostage right now, in a good way. Again, here with the healing station, right? Well, I guess the Sombra. You know, I guess it's all right. It's all right.
Yeah.
I'll cut you some slack. Yeah, there it is. See, but see, even here, you have your Helix. It's not so easy for her. It's not so easy for her. Oh, you can't go on a flank by yourself versus Sombra. Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. This is
Especially
great.
if I brush shoulders with her. Like once I know where she is, I feel like I have the advantage. But if
Mm-hmm.
she hits me with virus before I drop Helix or hacks me before I can drop heal station, it feels.
Yeah, I
really
mean
bad.
this is whatever. Like you got a little bit tunnel. This is the thing. It's like you got to be ADD pilled constantly. You know? You can't lose intensity for a second, right? Because the second you're just kind of like, oh, I broke pylon, you know, whoa, you know, because
Yeah,
that
exactly. That's
attention
what it
is what made you destroy this guy earlier. It wasn't like a huge mechanics diff necessarily. It's just you knew that he was there, and he didn't think that you knew. He thought he had the drop on you, and you were so ready, right? So, but I will say, like the last, gosh, I don't know, is it a full minute? Has it been a full minute? Yeah, it's been a full minute. It's been over a minute. You have absolutely destroyed the enemy team. Just with the creativity of your angles, your rotations, your CD usage has been good. Your patience has been really good. It's been really, really nice.
The takeaway there, I guess, is that I could have done that way earlier and done the same thing.
Right.
Before they even capped, right?
Right. The level of effort and intention. And it's funny because I felt like you realized it. You just dumped everything, like you and your damage boost and your visor into the choke, and you're like, man, I get a kill or two, but then we get killed, and then we're stuck back in the choke again, and nothing's changed. And so I think you're like, all right, well, let me try something. It's like it was like a mental reset, and all of a sudden, like everything starts clicking. Even if it had failed, like it was so much better. Yeah, here we go. You got your abilities. You're here on time. There it is. Fight started, and you're here. Perfect.
Whiff.
Trigger discipline. That's okay. Trigger discipline, right?
Yeah.
Chill. I would say as well in terms of target priority, little minor detail may help here. You're shooting the wrong target. Actually, baby's fine. Baby's fine. But as soon as like you're like, okay, I'm not gonna kill baby. Where does your crosshair need to go?
It goes to Sombra, which is the only person. But I probably should just look straight down at some of those people.
These guys are easier, so shoot them, please. That's the rule.
Yeah.
That's it. Just that simple. This is fine.
You'll see the difference in a whiff here. Oh,
It's okay.
yeah.
Summer might chase you here. Yeah, I actually think this is fine. Just expecting to pursue here. I think you could have run away and done fine and like actually even lived in their backline. I think this is all right. No big problems.
Okay.
Yeah, this is all about execution, not about what you did, right?
Yeah.
Solve the problem, right?
Yeah.
They say Nit. He's got the drop in you.
No, I'm dead.
As
soon as I took that fight, I knew I was dead.
It's again a misread of your advantages.
Yeah.
He has the advantage, and even if he didn't have the advantage, it's at best a 50-50. I don't want a 50-50. I want something better for me. So what do you do? Two choices.
At the very least, find some cover.
Right. Very least find some cover. Okay. Give me two other positional choices. You have both your CDs.
I could go through that right side tunnel and kind of get an off angle on him.
Or on his team, right? Either one. Or you can do
yeah,
or even bam here, right? You got choices.
Oh yeah.
Yep. This is just not going to work.
That's just ego.
It's just not going to work. You just don't have the position for it. Like position always is the first thing because it's what allows whether it's an ult or not an ult to work. And it just didn't work. Oh, I got to see this one. Vengeance here. Here we go.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was.
Nice. Where should you be? This one position, really. They're not on Widow.
Probably
They're on
in that left room, kind of poking from cover.
Too close. Too close. Not a good enough angle. The sightline's not good enough, right?
Then that right side that you showed me earlier. Yeah.
Right. Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
I mean, this is beautiful. Again, Widows complicate this, but there's not a Widow in the field. There's no question in my mind that that's where you need to be right now.
Yeah. I never play there. That's an interesting.
A lot of people don't play there. It's a forgotten part of the map. It's a really important part for some heroes, right?
Yeah.
But like this is kind of what happened on first point. Again, we're just vomiting damage on a diva while also risking our life to Kitsune, EMP, Soldier Visor, Sunburst, or whatever the heck EDR's thing is, Diva Bomb, like everything that could go wrong here. And you're going to be smart here and you're going to rotate in left. And I respect that. That's definitely like the way to win this fight. But this would be so much easier. Like this Diva would not be able to sit behind Cart and avoid damage because you'd be poking her from here, right? Yeah. She wouldn't have even got that close to begin with. Cart would have stopped, right? So let's see what you do here. Yeah, I mean, this is how, if you're going to win this fight, it's on the angle. It just happened to be the worst angle, and then you got there too late. So, okay, let's take some notes.
Okay.
Because obviously there's like a lot to unpack here, but I want to have some specific things that we can actually improve on moving forward. So, with with Soldier, let's focus on the big things first. What were the specific skills that you need to go in and practice with intention?
So I won't separate micro and macro here, even though I probably should, and I guess
I think that's okay. Just do it all.
We looked at my use of Helix and making sure that I'm not forgetting that when I'm in poke situations and having some trigger discipline, so that I'm hitting more shots when I start off missing. Having more awareness of what my advantage is and playing to that advantage.
Be more specific with that. That's like corporate speak. You're right, but I hate it.
So a lot of what we talked about was when I was in situations against that Hanzo, I was peeking angles that played to his advantage instead of mine. I was probably not taking an extra couple of seconds to roll out to a better position because I probably felt like I was getting more value by engaging more quickly, but I ended up getting less because I wasn't playing to my strengths. I was playing to his. And then kind of the same with that third point attack when I was avoiding that right side ledge to kind of poke at that Diva and poke at that Reaper and stuff like that. I was kind of moving into their team, which is right into their strength.
Right.
Second line.
Now, I will say that oftentimes it's really hard to know which one educates. Is it you thinking about the 1v1 that educates your positioning, or do you position first and then think about the 1v1? And I think it's a little bit of both, right? Like if you're saying, okay, they're on Hanzo here, like what's a good angle I can take versus Hanzo? I think that's good. I think that's good. But once you get there, you got to start thinking, okay, how do I use my helix? You know, oh, he hit me. I got to hide for a second, right? But yeah, I think you put it well.
I think once I see him, I feel like I have to. He sees me and I see him, so now we have to fight this. Like we've declared a duel. Now we have to take it. And I think getting accustomed to being comfortable with, okay, I saw him, I know where he is, but that's okay because I want to get here to fight it and fight it on my terms.
That's it. That's it. And I'm gonna point out that your character is designed with the fact that if something doesn't really go your way, you run away.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know it sounds dirty to say that, but the heroes are balanced like that. Characters that cannot run away from 1v1s are often stronger in those 1v1s, whereas characters that are weaker are generally like part of Tracer's strength in the 1v1 is that she just never takes a 1v1 she doesn't want to take.
Yeah.
You know? You hit a headshot on a Tracer, you hit a helix on a Tracer, she runs away. She tries again. Yeah. And so you need to be leveraging that. The game is balanced with the expectation that you're going to do that. So if you're egoing every sniper duel, even if you've taken a headshot and you're 5 HP, that's a you problem. You know, you can't be doing that. But yeah, I think about each, you know, and I wouldn't say every 1v1, but the most important one.
Yeah.
Like think about prioritize one hero that's giving you issues to help educate your positioning. Let's start with that. You know, whether that is the D.Va or the Hanzo or whatever the else that you want to do, just give it a shot.
Yeah.
Give it a shot.
Okay.
Last thing I will say as well, I think would just be keep pushing your creativity, exploration of the map, and options it provides.
Yeah.
There's always at least one or two different options. Are you going to be smart enough to take it? Now, not every map is a flashpoint, right? Which is unfortunate for Soldier, right?
Yeah.
But even on a King's Row third point, there was a couple options here and there. Like, heck, you were creative enough to do the helix jump, but you weren't creative enough to take the simple flank on the right or the left side, whether you were an attack or defense. Like, that's crazy. So, you know, there are options available. You just got to be smart enough to test them out. And I think that's the key thing, too, is it's like, every time you play the game, every time you play a map, it's going to be a little bit different depending on the situation. Yeah. Your job is to be a master strategist with a gun. That's your job. You're a strategist with a gun. That's what Soldier 76 is.
Okay. Makes sense to me.
Okay. Would you say there's anything else in here that we forgot? I think the healing station cancel with your ult. There's a couple other details that you can work on your own, but I think that those are a little bit more minor. Any questions?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. I got a lot out of that.
Okay. Do you know how to practice this stuff? Because obviously we've got 5 bullet points here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think trigger discipline is easy to practice. That's just a conscientiousness thing. What was the one above that? I can't. Let me scroll up. Helix mid-fight. Yeah, just being more conscious of as soon as Helix is off. Anytime I'm in a poke fight, if Helix is off cooldown, throw it out there. Think about your advantages. Yeah, I think that's a conscientiousness thing too, and focusing more on in the moment. Do I want to take? Once I'm dead, I know, but in the moment, do I want to take this fight here, or is there a better place to take this fight from? I'll practice that.
I added a couple of things at the bottom here as well that I wanted to take notes on, like the warm up, playtime, sleep, little things like that as well. Yeah, I really think it's just as simple as prioritizing these things one at a time. You can develop one skill. I wouldn't even say really like look to master a skill before you move on, but like today is going to be a helix day. Today is going to be a matchup day. Today is going to be making sure I'm always taking a flank day, even if it's a dumb flank, right? Today is going to be a trigger discipline day. Today is going to be practicing countering or the 1v1 versus one character day. Today I'm really going to make sure I get the warm up in and segmenting my playtime. You could just mix it up. Like I honestly, I've always found more success mixing up my thing way before I even see any really significant improvement. I just practice it for a couple hours. Next day, do something entirely differently. I don't even know if I'm better at the other skill, but I just keep mixing it up.
Okay. Makes sense to me.
If you're bored, you're not practicing.
Yeah, and that happens too much. I think that goes into the have fun. Is a lot of times I'm probably bored and not practicing as much as I'm just grinding.
Yeah. And I would go as far to say that you don't even need to have any goals for every day. I would say that most days it's good to have goals, but I'd say maybe 1 day a week, 2 days a week, just play.
Okay.
Just play. Totally fine. Okay.
Good to me.
If any questions.